Hey guys, so Titanfall has been out for over 2 years now, and this year we are finally going to be getting Titanfall 2, which myself and I'm sure a lot of other people really can't wait to get our hands on. Which is why I've decided to make this video just to kind of go over some points and discuss what I personally want to see in Titanfall 2, be it something returning from the first game or something new to add. And hopefully whoever stumbles across this video can let me know what you would like to see so I could possibly discuss it further with you. I can easily say that Titanfall is in fact one of my most played FPS games. It's the only multiplayer FPS where I've ever reached the maximum rank, which I guess proves that I definitely enjoyed playing it. But what happened to me, and is also what happened to most other players, is that the game died out rather quickly, roughly about 3 to 4 months after release. Not saying that the game was completely dead, like I never had a problem finding full games. It was only when I returned recently that I had to actually join other servers, like US servers, to play any game mode other than attrition, which really sucked. Looking back on it now, I see a lot of people blame the lack of content for the game's rapid decline in players. In my opinion, yes, but that wasn't the only reason. Yes, the game did get a little bit repetitive after playing over 100 hours, but so does any game, which is where you rely on the developers to keep adding new content to keep the game fresh and exciting, which Respawn did. The game shipped with 15 maps, which is heaps, and then 3 DLC packs, which are all now free, added a total of 6 more maps. Every map was perfect. When you think about it, making a map for Titanfall is a lot different to making a map for, your Call of Duties or your Battlefields. A game like Titanfall, its gameplay relies on the maps being perfect, and every map I played, including the DLC, was exactly that, which is why I think Respawn are great developers, and I don't think we should be, blaming them for stuff like lack of content. What I think was the biggest killer to Titanfall was that the game was released in March 2014, which I wouldn't be surprised if Respawn even had a say in. Because of the exclusivity to Xbox, Microsoft could have been pushing them to release it as early as possible just to raise the sales for the Xbox One, but that's just me completely guessing. 2014 was actually huge for game releases. Destiny, Watch Dogs, Wolfenstein, Far Cry 4, Halo Master Chief Collection, and the list goes on if you look it up. All these were big titles and released after March. It's funny because this year Titanfall 2 won't be a Microsoft exclusive and it's releasing in October alongside other big games. So I think that people just moving away from Titanfall was going to be inevitable from the beginning, and which is why we can't really blame the game for being the reason that people kind of moved on to other things. Since 2014, I've been returning to Titanfall every 1 to 2 months, and every single time I'm instantly reminded that this game is actually just so good. This recording is from earlier today, and after not playing it for a couple of months, it just feels so fresh and exciting, just like the first time I played it. Apart from the slightly ugly graphics, I guess, but that just shows how far our graphic integration has come since 2014. Now let's move on to a couple things that I liked about Titanfall that I would like to see make a return to Titanfall 2. First one is a pretty big one, and that is the pilot regenerations. Respawn did a good job of taking the basic prestige system that Call of Duty use and adding an element of challenge. Even though they weren't that difficult, the challenges, it at least gave something, other than just grinding to be able to get to the max level. There was actually a rather large outrage from players about the Gooser challenge, which needed to be completed in order to get from Generation 5 to Generation 6, which I actually made a guide for, which was my first video that I made on my channel. The challenge was pretty tough, not gonna lie. You had to kill 50 pilots while they were ejecting from their Titans, but the sad thing is that Respawn were forced to make the challenge easier by reducing the kills from 50 to 5, because people were literally quitting the game just because it was too hard for them to beat. A couple months after this incident, they brought in a system where you could actually buy an item with a pretty substantial amount of in-game currency that allowed you to skip regeneration challenges, which worked pretty well because that way you could either do the challenges and level up fast, or simply be boring and grind it out the slow way. What I'd like to see in Titanfall 2 is a comeback of the generation system. I actually came up with a pretty cool idea the other day where there would essentially be 2 leveling paths. The first one will be the same as Titanfall 1, but with more challenging tasks to complete to be able to proceed to the next gen, and then the other path would be an easier path that doesn't have challenges. This way the players who decide to take the challenging path are rewarded with a cooler looking, generation symbol next to their names, and the other just get a basic one to show people how boring and untalented they really are. In Titanfall at the moment, the 3 map packs are free. This is because they already had minimal numbers playing, and the players like me who paid money for the maps had a very small pool of competitors. I'd always find myself just versing the same couple players every time. although highly unlikely, I'd like to see Titanfall 2 take the same route as more modern FPS games and make the DLC maps free, so that way you're not really dividing the player base again, and instead introduce some paid cosmetic skins for your weapons and Titans. But I'd only want to see this if the skins match the theme of the universe, and not stuff like bright purple draft skins and whatever the hell this is. What I'd really like to see in the new game is possibly some more weapons. Already from the trailer we can see so many new things are being added and they all look awesome. What I hope they do is put a few more options in each weapon class, or some team specific items, which obviously wouldn't be restricted by what team you're on, but for example like an IMC rifle that would do, less damage but it's really accurate, or like a makeshift militia rifle which is high damage but the recoil is massive. The grappling hook looks awesome from the trailer as well. I just hope that it doesn't change the gameplay too much, only because the movement in Titanfall 1 is still so perfect, but I'm definitely 110% sure that Respawn have worked really hard to make sure that all the movement and balance is spot on. One last thing before I go, and this is a long shot, and I know this definitely won't be in Titanfall 2, but I'd like to see it in future games, is the ability to be able to take control of your teammates' Titans. Some players, myself included, prefer playing as a pilot over a Titan, but I will always bring my Titan down just to follow me around in auto mode, and it actually does get quite a lot of kills. It's an idea that would take a lot of work to get right. For example, I wouldn't want people just to be able to get in my Titan without my permission. Maybe if there was like some kind of prompt on my screen where I could either agree or disagree to let them take control of my Titan. Also, if they are in my Titan, I would always be able to kick them out if I decided to take control. So that's a crazy idea, but I want anybody watching to let me know if you have any crazy or not so crazy ideas you would like to see in either Titanfall 2 or future Titanfall titles. That's all I've got for you today. Thanks for watching, and I will see you soon.
Be advised, Titan ready in 30 seconds. Titan ready in 15 seconds. Okay, your Titan's prepped for launch. Call it when ready.
Nice moves. Now finish the job. Alright, we got what we came for. Awesome work, team. Mission accomplished.
Well done, guys.
He's gonna hold a grudge.
The IMC will be heading towards the evac point. Don't let them escape.
Dominate.
The IMC dropship has arrived. Take it out before it gets away.